Conversations on effective conservation with Astrid Vargas, Facilitation and Inspiration for Landscape Restoration.
This is the third and last audio from our interview with Astrid Vargas. Here she explains how she got involved in a landscape program in southeastern Spain in a semi-arid area. This is a large landscape with a combination of dryland agriculture, very traditional agriculture, and wild areas and protected areas. And here Astrid kind of takes a different role. In the two previous cases, she was a formal coordinator with formal authority on teams. Here she has informal authority, and she starts honing her skills as facilitator to work and motivate other people to change an area that was kind of forgotten economically and in conservation and in agriculture, to motivate them to work in an effective way and to start what has been one of the most interesting and pioneering projects in ecological agriculture, in landscape conservation, in this kind of semi-arid landscapes in Europe.
Everybody to Amsterdam, and then I met this organization called Common Land. And Common Land was a startup that was about ecosystem restoration, and it had a model that's called the 4 returns model, and it's here. It all starts with inspiration. We forget about so it's 4 returns: return on inspiration, return on social capital, return on natural capital, and return on investment. Okay, so how do you restore a large ecosystem using this model of the 4 returns? So I really love that idea. So especially inspiration, it's like we forget how powerful it is as an engine to be inspired and to inspire others. So I like that aspect of the model especially, and I was hired to find a project in Spain because I had a good network after the links and the media and Okay, so I looked for projects, found 21 different sites in Spain that were highly degraded, where we could try to implement this ecosystem restoration model. But one was really, really special, and it was 1 million hectares in Andalusia and Murcia. So let's imagine that this is the ecosystem. It's a steppe, you know, like Patagonia, like Mongolia, but in Spain. You never think that Spain has this kind of environment, but it does. And it's surrounded by protected areas that are sources of biodiversity. So I thought, wow, there's a lot of potential here. It's extremely degraded. Climate change is really hammering. It's incredible desertification and drought, and rural abandonment. Young people don't want to stay there because there's no future. Perfect for the 4 returns. The more difficult, the better. Yeah, embrace your challenges, because that's also exciting, no? If you like that. So the alveolar territory, the first thing is like, okay, how do we implement these 4 returns? Is we invest, we find the front runners. Who are the people that are already changing the system, that are already curious, and they are local? And so we bring them all into a room and we start facilitation. And that Alveolar has been all about facilitation and about the local people, and it's a community-led project. It's a bottom-up community of how to restore a degraded ecosystem with business development, but always thinking about how do we inspire, how do we social capital, how do we create jobs, how do we create capacity, like we're doing things. This is capacity building in all ways. We learn so much from you, we get so much energy, and vice versa, and it has a lot to do with building intergenerational bridges. We just separate the young from the old. We need to bring everybody together. So this is a return on social capital. The return on natural capital, imagine this is not green, this is brown, and the soils are degraded, so it's restoring soil, harvesting water in the desert, and recovering biodiversity. How do we create corridors that join the sources of biodiversity? And finally, return on investment. How do we create businesses that are kind with nature and that empower local people not to put their hand for the government or for philanthropy, just like the coffee. Like the coffee that Pedrito talked to us today is, empowering the locals so they have an income and they become more independent. So we're creating 15 business cases, but it's community-led. And at the beginning, I was there to manage and to lead. And when we had very, very incredible front runners, but I realized that when you have somebody that doesn't belong in the habitat coming to help people, then people was expecting to act when I would be coming. So then I decided, no, okay, this is your project and you're going to lead it the way. So it's all about facilitation, and they decided we want to form a local association, Asociación Albelal, and we will lead it ourselves. So basically, a little bit, that's how it all started in 2014, restoring soils. We have now, I think it's 14 business cases, and there's the whole thing about biodiversity. And then is where you link your lifetime, and they said, we are going to bring the Iberian lynx back here because it belongs actually in some of the places. There used to be Iberian lynx in the past. So then you start connecting with your past and going around in a circle in a certain way. And so this Albelal is a beacon project. We, I had the beginning working with common land was difficult because the mentality of the Dutch and the mentality of the Spanish are very different. And the Dutch were like bulldozers, and I was leading that with that bulldozing inside and in the back, and I thought, I'm not having fun. This is not fun for me, you know? So that's another big thing. Are you having, just use joy as a compass in what you do. And if something is not giving you joy, change it. That doesn't mean leave the project. It's like, where can I position myself to really enjoy this and work in parallel without being sad all the time and feeling that. So I decided to talk to the director of Common Land and to say, I'm not having fun. I want to work with you with Common Land in parallel. And what I would love to do is this little heart, the return on inspiration, that really connect with your passion. My passion is party. Let's have a celebration. Let's just bring people together, bring the community and do fun things together that restore nature. So it's like, I'm going to set up an organization of my own. It's called Inspiration for Action. And I'm going to work parallel with you, and everything I do, you can have it. And you can have it as it was Common Land, but I'm not under your thumb. I'm not under the Dutch mentality of bulldozing through the people. And he says, I understand you. The thing is, listen, don't be shy to speak up. Just be kind and be honest without being forceful, but say, listen, I'm not enjoying this, but I want to work on this. How can we all position ourselves so we continue leading in the same direction without really stepping on each other's shoes? So that, I think it's important. And so Albelal now has been running for 9 years. We have almost 500 farmers turning into regenerative agriculture. We do a lot of business development, a lot of ecosystem restoration. There's a whole plan for corridors. There's a plan to increase a protected area. Celebration and doing things together. I think it's very important to build intergenerational bridges. The old and the young, the babies and the grandparents, your age and our age. So, and a lot of how do you get there? You do things together and you have fun doing them. So celebration, what I negotiated with Common Land is like, let me do the return on inspiration that has to do a lot with celebration and with, so to build pride. One of the main things was lack of self-esteem. Who mentioned that before today?
Ricardo.
Yes. Okay, that was big. We are rural, nobody cares about it. It's like, okay, how can we be proud of ourselves? You have the most amazing almonds in the world, and they are big and tasty and wonderful. So let's make this business golden nuggets, they're called, and they're like, yeah, we have the best almonds in the world. And then let's do one. But this is true. They do have the best almonds in the world, but it doesn't need to be. And then one thing is, let's have a party. Let's have a barbecue. Let's celebrate the little and the big. Like at home, we celebrate something every day. When we have dinner together, Joe, my son, and I, is like, we toast and we have a little celebration. So every day, a little, wow, we're still alive, that's enough to celebrate, no? It's not a minor thing. And then celebrate the big. And what we celebrate, that it's in our hands to change things. It's not that hard. We can turn a really degraded land into a lush area. So then we came up with a Regeneration Festival, which is a 3-day festival in which we restore nature and we get really plastered together. And we dance a lot, and we mix the rural and the urban. So we have people from the Netherlands, from England, from Germany, coming to this rural area and partying and dancing flamenco and all that stuff, and then the local people dance. These beautiful blonde Dutch girls are dancing to my music, so everybody feels like this is very special. And in the process, we restore the land. So, for example, if we want to have a little regeneration festival here, we look for something that needs to be fixed. Maybe there's a camp there or whatever, and we as a group decide how are we going to do this. We have a little plan, and then in the morning we roll up our sleeves. Between all of us, we plant, we control erosion, we clean shit, whatever it needs to happen, and in the afternoon we have a big party. And it's very energizing when we do. So Regeneration Festival, I like to show you a little bit what it is about, but the concept is you leave the area better than you found it, but you have fun together, and you dance, and you mix the young and the old, and the rural and the urban, and the national and the international, and you connect, and then you make business in the whole process. So that's good for everybody, and it's very easy for your projects to think, how can we celebrate and fix the land together, and how empowering it is to put your hands on the soil and make something better. So that, I think, for the communities and for all that work that you guys are doing with people, celebration is big.